Hey everyone, so here is the first video having to do with upcycling feed bags. So these are the three types of feed bags that I can use. I think we make about 43 different items. So the first one is just a plain feed sack like Tractor Supply, grocery store, dog food, cat food, anything would come in this. Second one is a plasticky type bag, and while I'm limited what I can make with it, I think I have 3 different items I can make out of this type of bag. And the third one is what I would call a feedlot bag, and I have 2 or 3 different things out of this one that I make different things from. So during the summer when I wash feed bags, I can just cut the bottoms of these bags off and hang them on a fence line, hose them down, and I'm good to go. Unfortunately, in the winter, it's not so easy. So the first thing I would do is this bottom piece here, I would cut off. As you can see on this rack, I've already cut the bottoms off of this one. And then I take a bucket of warm, soapy water and a rag, and I wash all the outside off. And then hang them up to dry, because key thing is with this is you have to have it dried before you turn it inside out to wash the inside of it. Otherwise you will get mold and then the bag's ruined, because once you've got mold on it, there's not a lot you can do with it. So I went ahead and cut the bottom of this bag off. This is the only piece of the feed bag, of this type of feed bag, that I have yet to figure out a use for. So out of the whole thing, this is all that I'm going to end up throwing away. This feed bag, I'll cut the bottom of this one off. This type of feed bag, don't cut it. It'll just fall apart, and then you'll have to start all over again. I am still holding my phone by hand, so I have to pause it to reposition the bag until my little stand comes in for the phone to be on. But, so I took some of these bags that I had washed earlier, and then I turned it inside out because it was dry. So I'm going to take my warm water in the rag, and I will wash these. The thing with this type of feed bag, remember, is there's the seam, and you gotta wash under it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really nasty mess when you're trying to sew, and it's not pretty. When you are dealing with the plastic type bags, most recycling places will actually take these bags. So what I have a tendency to do is just cut out what I'm going to need for it. So with this Taste of the Wild bag, usually I can make 2 placemats out of it. There's some other ones. If I leave the bag whole, like you can kind of see it here, the Gentle Giant ones, there's tons of pictures on these bags, so I will kind of piece it together as to what I'm gonna use, if I'm gonna make a pet bowl mat or a placemat or a visor. A new thing that I'm looking into is making mats for your refrigerator shelves. So when it has a lot of pictures to it, then I will just wash the entire bag. Sometimes I get like treat bags, and I'll just cut the picture out, and that will end up being a visor, and they look really cute. People put them on their dogs, on their kids, on themselves. So, oops, that is how I deal with the plastic bags. And there's the puppy. He's always helping me when I'm sewing. With the feedlot bag, turned it inside out once it dried on the outside, and I just washed the inside of this bag. Again, I left the bottom still intact because this bag will fray as soon as I cut it. So with these bags, I think I make 3 different items out of it. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. I make a veggie bag, So like you can put your produce in it and reuse it if you go to farm markets or grocery stores or wherever you're buying produce at. I make a picnic mat, and I make like picnic table covers, or just table covers in general. And later on, over the weeks, I'll go over how to make each thing that I create with these. So that was the first step of upcycling feed bags. A few little tricks or tips. I have this large, and it's kind of difficult to see, and sorry for the mess in the background, we're still working on the house. But I have this large rack, and I have a bunch of drop hangers. Like this has got my gloves for washing on, drying on them. If you're in a colder area and the bags have been stored outside, and usually when people bring them to me, they are all wadded up in a big bag, and it's, you know, a lot of pulling them out and dumping out the excess feed and whatever's inside the bag. But put them on either a door hook or a rack like this, and put them on a drop hanger and let them basically warm up in your house, because when they're really cold, they are really incredibly stiff and difficult to manipulate. So even before you cut the bottoms of them off, if you just hang them up for a day, let them warm up, they're so much easier to work with. My other tip is get just some house cleaning gloves, because all of the feed that's in these, a lot of grains, a lot of dust, a lot of powder, it will dry and crack and kill your hands after about a week of working with feed bags. And what was the third thing? Oh, the third thing is, even if the bag, sometimes I get them and they have little chew holes in the corners, or they're cut up somehow, or they're ripped open. Unless it's this type of bag, any of the other ones, we can still use them. So don't discount them. Don't just toss them aside. Save them. We can still, over the course of this, we'll have several different uses for those bags. So it was a quick video, but that's just how to prep your bag. So get them washed up, and next week we will start with how to make the most basic tote, and then each week we will go from there. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week.